Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of the National League South Roundup. So this is the penultimate round of fixtures in the game in the National South this season. A lot of games that proved very decisive and a lot of games that proved crucial in both the playoff and relegation race, so we'll get straight into it. First off, we've got Bath City against Oxford City, and the hosts managed to run out 1-0 winners, narrow 1-0 winners, albeit strengthening their playoff chances, all but securing their places in the playoff. It secured their place in the playoffs because they're currently 4 points clear of 8th place St Albans. So Bath will be in the playoffs this season, no matter what. It took a hard-fought victory, however, over Oxford City, who had nothing to play for. It was Smith with the only goal of the game on the hour mark, with just half an hour left on the clock. Gave them the only goal of the game, gave them the lead that they also wanted, that they worked hard for, and it was them who proved out to be rightful winners in the end. As I said, that win has strengthened Bath's place in the playoffs. It's confirmed it now. 4 points clear. They're on 68 points in 5th. Oxford, in contrast, as I said numerous times, they've got nothing to play for. They're on 53 points in 13th place, so the highest they can finish is 12th above Chippenham. So it's a good victory for Bath, getting one over on Oxford and securing their place in the playoffs ahead of the closed season. The game to take place was between Chelmsford City and Wealdstone, and the away team managed to run up brilliantly 3-0 winners, which is a magnificent result for them, strengthening their chances of the playoff chances as well, after which looked really slim after 2 successive defeats. Home side, however, will be really disappointed. They couldn't push Welling for 3rd place, even though it was looking really unlikely anyway. They've got no chance of getting it now, as they could have to settle for 4th. They could even possibly drop as far as 6th, but they have guaranteed their place in the playoffs. They're in 4th place or 69. Let's move on to the game though. Wilson were magnificent in this game throughout. It was Danny Green who gave the away side the lead just 33 minutes in, a brilliant finish. Then Alawakia doubled Wilson's lead in the 50th minute before 6 minutes later a Cascarvel own goal put the defender from Chelsea put through his own net to seal the win for Wealdstone, giving them all 3 points and putting them in a great position to get the final playoff places, although it's still out of their hands because they're currently in 10th on 63 points. They're 2 points off the playoffs. Going to the final game, the playoff race is absolutely amazing. I couldn't tell who's going to get it. I think Concord are all but secure in the playoffs. Bath obviously are secure. Down there, Billericay in 7th on 65, St Albans 8th 64, Dartford 9th 64, Wealdstone 10th 63, and Slough 11th 62. All could still get in it, so impossible to call. Massive win for Wealdstone, however, to really strengthen their playoff chances, putting them back alive again after some disappointing results earlier on. The next game was a massive game in the race for the playoffs between Concord Rangers and St Albans City. On the home side, as I correctly predicted, ran out 2-1 winners. And this was a massive win for Concord after they had a little bit of a blip, but they haven't shown many signs of inconsistencies. And this is why I tipped them they could be a dark horse, and I genuinely think they could win the playoffs and get promoted. Even though as bizarre as it sounds, they've rarely shown foot wrong all season. They've shown really good consistency. They've rarely ever had a bad run of games, and St Albans have had a poor run, but they've started to get back together again. But the loss has put them in a bit of an awkward situation ahead going into the last game, but we'll get to that later. There was a quick fire double from the hosts in the 13th and 18th minute after goals from Sam Ashford and top scorer Alex Wall respectively, put them in a really strong position in the first half. However, just 4 minutes from time from end of the first half, Joe Coloxy started for St Albans to reduce the deficit and put Concord under pressure. However, despite that pressure from the Saints, Concord managed to hold on for a massive 3 points, giving them a good position in the playoffs, all but securing their place in the playoffs ahead of the closed season. They're currently in 6th on 67 points. They're 3 points clear of St Albans themselves in 8th. So St Albans will have to take a massive goal swing if they were to overtake Concord in the playoffs. And as for their own playoff chances, it is out of their hands, but they need to rely on other results. But I couldn't call who's going to make it at the moment. It's mental, the amount of teams that are involved with this, and you never know what could happen, especially with the National League South. It's mental, things change. You never know what could happen with loads of teams picking up shock results. The next game, another game massive in the playoff race between Dartford and Billericay Town, and the home side managed to run out 2-1 winners after a brilliant late show from the hosts, after putting an end to a terrible run of it, because obviously they lost 6-0 at Eastbourne, which was abysmal, was the only way to describe it, but they bounced back with a brilliant win here. It was, however, all plain sailing for Billericay, if you pardon the pun. Jake Robertson slotted from the spot in the 56th minute after a pretty non-event of first half. Both teams had a fair amount of chances. Robertson, the top scorer in the league, slotted for top scorer Billericay, slotted in the 56th minute to give them the lead, and it looked like Billericay would hold on for that win. As 3 minutes from time, they were still going 1-0 up. However, in the 88th and 90th minute respectively, a double from Tom Murphy send their home crowd into raptures after a brilliant performance from him, sending them, giving them all 3 points of the darts and putting their playoff chances back alive again after some dodgy results. The result for Billericay leaves them in 7th place on 65 points. They've only got a point margin now ahead of the team below them, which is St Albans, and they've also only got a point ahead of Dartford, who are 9th. So it's hard to call. You can't tell who's going to do it. If you're a betting man, I don't know who you put your money on, because it's incredible how tight this is, and massive result for Dartford, who put their chances back alive after some dodgy results, as I said lately. The next game to take place between Dulwich, Hamlet and Woking, and the away side put an end to their poor run of form with a great away victory at Champion Hill. And they raced into a 3-goal lead after Musa Diarra headed home, who was a brilliant player. He scored so many goals from centre-back, around 16 goals from centre-back. He was so good for Hampton. He's a great player to have. Anyone have him. He could do a job at any National League club, in my opinion. He headed home in the 45th minute to give the host the lead, right on the stroke, the wayside the lead, right on the stroke of half-time. Then a Reece Alassani double in the space of 4 second-half minutes in the 57th and 61st minute, put Woking 3-0 up, and putting him in a really strong position and putting an end to what looked like what could be the end of run of poor form. And it did stay that way until the last minute, however. Taj Bakash for Dulwich gave them a late consolation goal, but was to no avail. Woking held out for the victory, putting an end to their run of form, which I'll be happy with, because they were in dire form going into the playoffs, which no one wanted to see. But they've put an end to it, which their supporters will be pleased with. They're currently now guaranteed to finish second, because after Welling lost and Woking won, they can't be overtaken now. So the top 3 is all secure. Those top 3 will not be moving anywhere else. Dulwich, in contrast, are in 15th on 48 points. They're still on 48. Obviously, there was 3 teams on 48. My team, Hampton, has gone to 49. Obviously, as you know from my vlog, I'll get to that in a second though. And yeah, they're 15th on 48. Highest they can finish is 14th. Not going to go anywhere now. So yeah, massive win for Wigan there, who put an end to their run of form and going into the playoffs with some bright positive sparks. The next game, and undoubtedly the shock and upset of the weekend, came at Rookery Hill as Thurrock United ran out 4-1 winners over Welling United. So in a game that the hosts had to win in order to stand any chance of avoiding relegation, they did so in an emphatic style. However, it was eventually found out that Hungerford did get a late winner at Torquay, which meant that Thurrock United were relegated to the Boston League, meaning heartbreak for the Rocks after an incredible victory. It's devastating in the way to go that after an impressive victory, especially over a side like Welling, who are challenging for promotion, which is magnificent. And they got off to a great start. Rocks, after in the 15th and 37th minute, a double from Sack and Higgins put them on their way. Then Mo Bessemer, the former Hampton player and the Barnet loanee, reduced the deficit on the stroke of half time. However, just 2 minutes into the second half, Thurrock came out the way they ended the first, the better team, as Nzengo made it 3-1, restoring the 2-goal lead for the Rocks. And on 90 minutes, Ricky Hales put it to bed once and for all to make it 4-1, capping off an unbelievable victory for the Rocks. Even though Weston avail, they've got to be delighted with a win like that. Magnificent. They should have safe fight like that. They've got to be considered to be going back up again. So that result was pretty stark. Second from bottom with 36 points, and they are 5 from safety with obviously 1 game to play, meaning impossible for them to escape the drop zone now, which is a shame. But I'm sure a lot of teams won't mind them going down for various different reasons. Welling, however, stay third. I've got a feeling they may have rested some players. I'm not sure though, but they stay third and they confirm third. They're not going to go up or down now. I went down any other places now. They could have had a chance if they won here to overtake Woking, but after they lost, they haven't got a chance of doing so now. Yeah, they'll be disappointed with the loss here. Welling, very disappointing. Doesn't sound like they played really well, but they'll be absolutely gutted with the result. It's not the form you want, sort of result you want going into the playoffs. But Thurrock, despite their relegation, will be somewhat happy with their victory over a good Welling side. Gloucester City confirmed their stay in the National League South next season. They came back from 2 goals down to beat Chippenham Town 3-2 in a fabulous match. Entertaining, very entertaining, very fascinating, I wish I could have been there. It sounds like an amazing game it would have been, as Gloucester were 2-0 down going into half time after goals from Ossé in the 12th minute and Smile in the 31st from the spot, making Chippenham fairly comfortable at the break. But they were fairly comfortable for the most part of the second half, but in the space of 4 minutes it all collapsed for them. It started with Fabien Robert, who's a brilliant player for Gloucester. He scored screamers for them, and he went on his way scoring another brilliant goal for them to reduce the deficit to make it 2-1 in the 72nd minute. And the 74th minute, just a minute after that, Gloucester were awarded a penalty. Joe Hanks stepped from the spot and comfortably dispatched it, making it 2-2, meaning Chippenham's 2-goal lead all of a sudden. They had no lead and they were back level. And it was Jackson, just 2 minutes after that, who put Gloucester 3-2 up, securing their safety, meaning that stay at National South level probably means they will be going to the National North because of the 4 Southern teams coming down from the National League. So it does sound like they will be going to the North, but the fact that they're staying up, they'll be delighted with anyway. So, and after their performance today, they'll be delighted with that as well. So massive win for Gloucester, keeping them up, and a brilliant performance to go with it too. Next, obviously, we have the game involving my team, Hampton and Richmond Borough, who went up against Truro City. So obviously I've gone over this pretty much in my vlog, so I'll just touch on it quickly. First half was a pretty non-event, but Zach Joseph did give us the lead with a strike just inside the box, which took a massive deflection really, which did play a part in taking it in, but Joseph it was that claimed the goal and gave us the lead in a chance limited first half. But second half we came out fiery and much the better side. And at the start of the second half we won a penalty almost straight away as Zach Joseph again, the Truro defenders couldn't contain him. They hacked him down, well, hacked him down was a bit harsh, but they grabbed hold of him and he fell to the ground. It was a certain penalty, no doubt about it, and Wealdstone stepped it up, who I believe is our second top scorer this season, which is incredible considering he's only been with us, what, barely a month. He stepped up nonetheless and he comfortably dispatched the penalty, making it 2-0 to us, and we were fairly comfortable as well. But it was Tyler Harvey that reduced the deficit in the 67th minute after a scramble in the box. Appeals of a handball were turned away, but it was Harvey that scrambled home their top scorer to make it 2-1. And just as it would seem that Truro were going down as Hungerford got that late winner at Torquay, Jimmy Richards got his head on it to put it past Ashley Manor Brewer to make it 2-2. Daylight robbery, it has to be said, from Truro, nicking a point from the death. We should have dispatched them cleverly, but we didn't take our chances, so we made to pay for it. So we'll be disappointed with that, but Truro will be delighted with a point. It still gives them a slight chance of staying up. They've got to beat Slough on next Saturday and hope that Hungerford lose at home to East Thurrock, which is unlikely, it has to be said. I hate to say it, but I can't see Truro staying up now. They will have to win, but they could always dream, and so Truro will be somewhat happy but somewhat disappointed, and I as a Hampton fan, I was a little bit disappointed that we couldn't put them to bed. The next game was between Hemel Hempstead Town and already relegated Weston-super-Mare, and after first half of back and forth, Hemel was somewhat the better side, you can argue, but Weston did have chances. It was the Wayside who took the lead right on the stroke of half time as Jacob Kane, who's a brilliant player for them, I have to be saying, he's been really good for them, been in them a few seasons now. It was him that gave them the lead on the stroke of half time, put them ahead, somewhat against the one I played, but then they wouldn't mind about that. And it was straight after half time, Weston came out fiery, and it was Alex Bray on loan from Rotherham United. He's a good little player, I have to be said, he's good. He would have done well for a team that's been relegated. Straight after half time, he doubled their lead, and it did stay that way for Weston. They managed to get 3 points, securing them 3 points, and a great win for them going into the final game of the season. Even though they're relegated, they're still showing great fight, which is magnificent. And I really think they're going to be a force to be reckoned with in the Southern League South next season. They could string a promotion charge together because if they're showing great fight, getting good results against teams towards the latter end of the season, and with that they'll certainly be getting points. So that obviously leaves Weston still bottom of the league, but they're only 2 points behind East Thurrock now, which I believe they will overtake them because I don't think East Thurrock could get a win at Hungerford. But I've got a feeling Weston will get something in the last game to overtake East Thurrock. It means that East Thurrock will finish bottom, Weston will finish second bottom. Hemel are 16th on 48 points, so they're not, as I said, they're nothing to play for a while now, but they're just going to, highest they can finish now is 14th above Hampton. But yeah, Hemel will be desperately disappointed with this. They've had a real dodgy season. A few of their fans are calling for Joe Deeney's head because they won't go anywhere. They need to come and improve. They won't improve under him next season if they want to improve and get the playoffs that they did last season. They've got to let him go, and it's been really disappointing for them. I do feel for them, but Weston, nonetheless, despite their relegation, will be delighted with their win, which is after them showing great fighting spirit. The next game to take place is between Slough Town and Eastbourne Borough, and this game all came alive in the 90th minute. After the first 89 minutes, when nothing much happened, Slough did win a penalty, and it was Billy Clifford who dispatched of it comfortably to give what Slough fans thought would be a massive win for them in their brief playoff chances, keeping them alive, putting them in a great position. However, all was not lost for Eastbourne as Cotton, in the 95th minute, got home an equaliser to send the away fans into raptures and securing a point which meant Eastbourne Borough was safe, and that Slough's chances of a playoff place were even more brief than they were before. But what a game, what an ending to this game it was. Unbelievable scenes. It must have been an Eastbourne away end too, but that has dented Slough's brief playoff chances. Even though they'll be disappointed, they'll still be happy with where they're finishing at this point with their season back in the National South. They're 3 points off the playoffs. It's still doable, but it is very unlikely. They're in 11th, 3 points off the playoffs, but yeah, it's going to be a big ask. Eastbourne are now mathematically safe from relegation, They're on 42 points. They're 4 clear of the drop zone. It's a great point for them. I've got to give them credit. Fair play to them for staying up, because I, along with many others, were not giving them a chance a few weeks ago against the teams after the results they were getting. They've still only won one since January, which is still not exactly magnificent, but it's just shows what one win could do to you in this league. But they'll be massively delighted with the points. So some were disappointed, but they'll still be happy with the end of the season they're having. And the final game, which was an unbelievable affair, as the champions Torquay United lost 1-0 to relegation-threatened Hungerford Town, which I couldn't believe when I was seeing this. It was absolutely hilarious. But it was Lewis Lee Gilchrist who put in a brilliant strike in the last minute of the game to steal all 3 points of the away side and send the 54 away fans home absolutely delighted. It means that relegation is in their own hands. They've got the safety is in their own hands going into the final game of the season. Home to Thurrock United. They've got to just better Truro's result. But not better, because Truro do have the better goal difference. But as long as Hungerford win, there's nothing Truro can do. So it is in their hands. They're on 41 points in 19th place, 3 points clear of Truro. And obviously Torquay are just miles clear, 85 points now at the top of the league, miles clear. I think they did rest players again, but they still lifted the title. They're still not going to mind too much. So yeah, Hungerford will be absolutely buzzing with that result, as now they've got a really good chance of avoiding relegation. It's in their own hands. Just need to beat Eastbourne on Saturday, and Truro obviously are home to Slough. So even if they don't, they can better Truro's result and they'll stay up. But Torquay will somewhat be disappointing, but I'm sure they won't mind with the result because they are champions. Hungerford absolutely delighted with the result. And that about sums it up for this video. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll leave all the results down below so you can easily catch up with them. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe on this video, and I'll see you all for my next video very, very soon.